I'm going to put up a little shop update here, and a lot of it is going to be having to do with fabricating brackets for the haul truck. And I don't want you to think of it as, I'm not posting it as a bracket for the haul truck. I'm posting it as a fabrication video that you just maybe get some techniques. Or what I did, my technique was for building it, holding the metal square, or getting it square and in position to be tacked out. I'm kind of telling you this and showing you the toolbox at the same time because I told you in the video, the shop update video about the toolbox, that I would bring you back and do a toolbox tour. Well, there's some things that has to happen to the toolbox before I'm going to be able to do that. I've got all my tools in it. The old box is gone, but this end cabinet does not fit onto this toolbox. Mac Tool Guy thought it would be compatible with it. It's not compatible with it. It's just hinged on there, being held on by this thing. He has given me a one that fits it, one that was designed and built for this toolbox in place of that one. So when I get it all together, I will do the toolbox tour. But in the meantime, the bracket is going to be basically a lot to do with the shop update. I might bring you back and show you a couple of other things, or put a couple of inserts in to explain some things. But basically, the bracket fabrication will be the shop update. What I'm doing is I'm over the welding bench, and this is going to be the bracket for that transmission spring on the haul truck. Now, I've gone through a couple of variations. Originally, I was going to make it out of a bigger piece of steel. Actually, I was going to make it out of something like that and then cut it off at an angle and make the bracket. But I kind of found this bigger stock laying around, and I'm thinking I'm not really sure exactly how much force is going to be exerted onto that thing. It's so far back on the drivetrain combination that I really don't think a lot of force is going to be exerted on it. So that's kind of why I was going with something like this. Is even though it's thicker material, it's a lot narrower. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with that. What I'm going to do is, of course, these will be side by side. I've got that the squares in there, and the spring shackle will sit down in between it, and there will be a hole drilled through it, so that there will be a through bolt going through there, holding the end of that spring shackle off the back of the transmission. What I am going to do is on the top plate, on the top part of it, weld a piece of cover material, let's call it, and that's only going to be there to keep it from wanting to pull in, just keep the spacing on them even. But anyways, there it is. I'm not going to ponder the situation. I was going to, kind of get a little fancy and cut an angle off, but it's going to be under the truck. Nobody's going to ever see it. And its entire function is to hold that transmission support. It's not supposed to be decorative. If it was going to be out in the open someplace, yeah, I would make it decorative, but I'm just going to go with this. So what I'm doing here is I've taken a pair of vice grip welding clamps and I'm clamping it on the top and then taking a measurement of the gap on the bottom. As anybody knows, even though I had a straight edge on that thing, as anybody knows, when you tack something up like that, it will pull it. So that's what it did. It pulled it apart at the top. So I'm just using the vice grip clamps to bring it back so the gap opening from the bottom to the outside of it, or from the back to the front, is the same gap. And I will leave them on there as I weld it out, and you will see that coming up here shortly. Okay, there's one. And it's still got to be cleaned up a little bit, but let me just go grab the spring, make sure that shackle fits in there. Yeah, it fits in there fine. Yeah, good deal. Let me find something to put on the top of it, and I told you I was going to put a little plate on the top, so let me find something to get to do that. Okay, just to give you a little shot of it before I weld it out the rest of the way, put that kind of that top plate back onto it. Now I'm not going to extend that top plate all the way. I'm just going to put that top plate on there to try and keep garbage and stuff out of there, keep dirt out of it, and hold the two of them apart correctly, so that there's no chance that they can pinch in. But anyways, there it is before. That's how it goes on, and that's it before it's finished welding out. Here's a bracket set up with that piece that I'm going to weld on the top of it. I made it 3 inches long, just so it would stick out a ways, kind of help support these things from keeping to pinch in as I secure that thing there. I want them a little bit of play in between the side of the spring and the bracket face. So I don't want it rubbing on there, so that it creates a pressure point or a wear spot on the thing as it goes up and down. But anyways, I'm gonna weld that out, and I'll bring you back afterwards. We're gonna try and weld this out. I'm gonna show it to you. Now, why I say try is because I've got the doors open. It's warm, but it's really windy, and it's hard to do MIG welding in wind. It blows the gas away, but the wind is coming in from that direction there, So this thing is actually blocking it, so I should be okay till I go to turn it around and weld out the other side of it. I'm gonna do the other one now. I still gotta cut the pieces for it. I mean, I've got that back plate, but I've gotta cut the pieces for everything. Okay, so there it is, back sitting in the frame with that leaf springs in there. And what I'll do is I'm gonna build the other side, like I said in a previous video clip. Build the other side, put the other side in there, and then mark out those holes. Take the things over to the drill press and drill the holes out. I'm over here at the mill, and what I've got is a bracket from the transmission mount off of the Ford F750. And what I'm going to do is drill it over here. Originally, I was going to drill it over to the Canedy Otto Drill Press. Let me just cut in here a minute. I'm over at the Canedy Otto Drill Press, and if I was able to have gotten a vise over here, or if the part had been able to be bolted directly to the table, I would have come over here and drilled it on the drill press. But again, as I'm going to be mentioning here, the vices that I have are over on the other side of the room. The Kurt vise is bolted onto the mill, and the rest of the vices are either underneath tables or on a small table, but I would have to pick them up and bring them over here to put them on. I'm not really supposed to be picking up anything. Originally they told me I wasn't supposed to be picking up anything over 5 pounds, but I had the staples removed yesterday and got the doctor to talk into upping it to 15 pounds, because actually my friggin' boots weigh more than 5 pounds a piece. So but I'm still not supposed to be picking up anything. There's two things. I don't have a vise over there, and I'm not really supposed to be picking up anything heavy, so the vise was over here at this mill and already mounted, so all I had to do was bring the bracket over. What I've got it done is I've just got it clamped into the vise off to the side far enough and put some shims underneath it to square it up with the bed so that I could drill down through it. What I'm going to do is try and drill down through it and get that bolt hole in there for the bolt that goes through the bracket and the spring shackle to secure that. So here it is. Again, I was originally going to do it on the Canedy Otto Drill Press, but because of the issue of me being able to pick up heavy things, I really can't get the vise over there to secure it to the bed of the drill, so I'm going to have to do it over here. Okay, just a shot of that bracket after it had been drilled and it had been bolted to the frame. I will cover this in detail on the truck build, but I'm not going to cover the welding, but I'll cover installing it and bolting it up to the frame in detail under the truck video. And in conclusion of this shop update, I just want to bring you back to that new toolbox. What I did is put them magnetic strips behind it again, and mounted my longer pry bars onto those magnetic strips. Good place for them behind the toolbox. They're not taking up drawer space, and they're kind of out of the way of the side and everything, and they're easy to get to. Even if you reach across the box, you can get to them. But that concludes this shop update, and again, as soon as I get this toolbox, the new side cabinet that fits the new toolbox on, and get all of my tools organized, I will do a toolbox tour.